Good afternoon, Maryland Realtors. Winter is coming, or if you look outside the window right now, perhaps it's already here given the weather this week. With these cooler temperatures, you may have noticed that you have some drafty doors, leaky windows, maybe a furnace that's struggling to keep your home warm, or a couple of places that could use some more insulation. With heating bills expected to rise this winter, there is no time like the present to make some energy efficiency upgrades to either your current dwelling or that fixer-upper that you have your eye on. But of course, the question always is, how do I pay for that? Well, thankfully, Maryland DHCD and Freddie Mac are here today to give you some options on how to do just that. Before we turn it over to our panelists, just a brief housekeeping note. If you have questions, please put that in our Q&A. We will monitor that throughout the program. Make sure that you can get the answers to the questions that you have. With that, why don't we just dive right in? We're going to get started close to home with Patrick Hall, a senior program manager with the Department of Housing and Community Development. He's going to introduce us to some programs that are just for Maryland residents. So, Pat, take it away.
Hello, everyone. So the Be Smart loan is a loan for energy efficiency upgrades. It's been around for about 10 years. It's actually had the same terms for the last 10 years. And like everything else, the interest rate is going to rise. So please take advantage of this calendar year. I'm ready for the next slide. All right, so what are the terms? Well, it's a 10-year loan. And it is, do you want me to drive? Okay, there we go. It's a 10-year loan. It's 4.99%. That's going to increase January 1. You can choose a shorter term than 10 years if you like. And we can actually finance up to $70,000 or even more if you qualify. You can go back to that first one for me. It's unsecured. So there are no closing costs, no fees. There's no down payment. It's not a second mortgage. It is a very simple loan, and we do have no prepayment penalty. And you can go to the next one. So we do some very simple underwriting. We look at your debt to income ratio. We make sure that it only can go up to 50%, which is less than some mortgages that are actually usually at 35%. And the credit score can be 640 or higher. You have to be a Maryland homeowner. So you have to have your name on the deed. And if you are retired, then we also can still qualify you. So our goal is to get this loan out to as many people as we possibly can. You can go to the next slide. We have to stick with our Department of Energy guidelines. So that means that we will finance things like an energy audit, insulation, air sealing, ventilation. We'll also finance electrical system upgrades that have to do with those kinds of things. We're looking for Energy Star rated or Energy Star certified or compliant HVAC systems, hot water heaters. That's a good question about primary residence. It does not have to be a primary residence. That's the beautiful part about this. This can be just a home that you own. As long as your name's on the deed, it can be a vacation home, does not have to be a primary residence. We're doing all kinds of appliances. Most appliances that are manufactured now are Energy Star. The doors and roofing, there's very little actual Energy Star roofing that's available. We get asked about siding. We will do siding as long as siding is insulated. So, regular vinyl siding, no. And then lightings and controls, as long as they are Energy Star, and we don't do remodels. So if it's recessed lighting you want to put in, we really don't finance that. Most of what we finance are HVAC systems, and then insulation and air sealing projects. Windows and doors. We actually just started doing financing of roofing. Now, these roofing, it's solar shingles. So they are Energy Star compliant by their nature. They're actually generating energy. So GAF just came out with a whole series of solar shingles, and I believe Tesla also has solar shingles. Sometimes we are even doing geothermal systems. We love these. They're normally higher dollar, which we like. We like bigger loans. And also, it's possible you might run into mold or asbestos. In Maryland, we have a lot of radon. So we will also finance radon and abatement for asbestos and mold. You can go to the last slide. Beyond this, I just want you all to know about a program we work a lot with. If you are in one of the top 5 utilities in Maryland, you're paying into the Empower Maryland Fund. And that fund is the engine for the home performance with Energy Star rebates. There are no other Maryland loans associated with this. It is a standalone loan, just a pretty simple loan. So no, it stands by itself. If you are in one of these top 5 utilities, you can get an energy audit for $100. That's the starting point to get to these rebates. A lot of people that come to us don't know about these rebates, and there's a couple steps involved. You pay $100, the utility pays the other $300 to the auditor. They come and do a very detailed audit of your home. And then once that's done, they give you a prioritized list of measures. And these measures are in order of importance. And the top measure is always going to be attic insulation, and then air sealing and ventilation. There are rebates associated with those. So you're not going to pay the full amount. And then once you're done with doing those 2 measures, then you can then access the HVAC and hot water heater rebates. The HVAC rebate is between $2,000 and $3,000, and it all depends on what you have already and then what you're replacing it with. And then the hot water rebate's the same thing. That's also $2,000 to $3,000. So this is a really great program. I really want to make sure that people understand these. Right now, these are the only rebate programs available in the state of Maryland. The Inflation Reduction Act was just passed. It has 2 different rebate programs that will be stood up here soon in Maryland. When I say soon, I'm saying probably mid next year, because the Department of Energy is still working out their guidelines. But what they will involve are 150% of the median income and below will qualify for a fossil fuel to electrification rebate. So that rebate is going to be for those who are using propane or natural gas or oil heat and going to electric. But you have to be at 150% or below of the median income. And that's by, a lot of times that's by county. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with that as it relates to state or county. And these rebates will be coming from the federal government, and will be following the DOE guidelines that they have yet to create. The other rebate is just simply a rebate for these energy efficiency measures, be it insulation or Energy Star appliances, HVAC systems, hot water heaters. And there's 2 qualifications related to that. One is if you're at 80% of the median income or below, you get double the rebate. If you're not at 80%, you just get the standard rebate. The other measure is how much are you saving energy-wise? So if you're saving up to, I think it's between 15 and 19% of your total energy, that will be one set of rebates. That goes up if you're between 20% and 35% energy savings in your home, and then 35% and higher. So there's going to be a little bit of upfront work to get to those rebates, because you'll have to have, similar to this home performance with Energy Star, you'll have to have an audit so that we can determine how much you're going to save. So you're going to be waiting 6 months for that to come about. The Maryland Energy Administration is the lead agency there, and we hope to help them. That remains to be seen, but the money is already set aside, and it's actually $68 million to the state of Maryland for each of those rebate programs to be used over 10 years. So we're excited for more rebates to come. Kind of the most exciting part about that whole thing is that it looks like you'll be able to get both rebates when they're offered, because the restrictions on the federal rebate states that you can only get one of the two federal rebates. It doesn't say you can't add a state rebate to it. So lots of incentives to get your energy efficiency up. And that's all I've got. I could take a look at some questions. I think I tried to answer them while I came in.
Well, Patrick, let me throw in one. You mentioned at the start of the slides that currently the interest rate is 4.99, but that's going up at the beginning of the year. What action do people need to take before December 31st in order to lock in that lower rate? Do they just need to apply? Do they need to be approved? Do they actually have to start some work on their property? Can you explain the timing on that one just a little bit?
That's a great question. And just to give you an idea, we're looking at 6.99 or 7.99. What you'll do is go online and you can put in Maryland DHCD Be Smart Loan, and our page should pop up, and there's an online application. You would have to fill out the application, get pre-approved, give us your estimates of what you want to do, and then literally sign loan docs. So only those who have signed their loan documents will be locked into the rate. So you really got to get going now. We will turn around a pre-approval within hours, sometimes on a business day, but certainly 24 hours or one business day, we'll turn around the pre-approval. And we will then, once you give us your actual estimates for what you want to do, and we approve the measures, we are turning out loan docs also within a day. So we're very quick to get things out, as long as you're prepared with your estimates and your financial information supporting documents. And just to go back to those supporting docs, it's kind of simple. You just have to give us a driver's license, give us a mortgage statement, or prove to us that you own the home and maybe that you're up on your taxes, and then income. And if you're retired, we just need 2 years worth of taxes. And if you're not retired, then we just need 30 days worth of pay stubs. So it's kind of very simple documents to support this. We turn out the loan documents within a day if we have all of that information, and then you must sign and notarize them and get them back to us electronically. But if you can do all that in a day, go to your bank, use your notary, we can be very quick about getting you secured at this 4.99. See, the last question: how long do you have to get the job completed once it's been approved? Well, let's live in reality. Okay, all jobs are over budget and over time. So what do? We will adjust the loan as we do every day for borrowers. We will up the amount, no problem, and that involves just a new set of loan docs. If you don't want to eat that and out of your own budget, we'll go ahead and adjust the loan for you. And then there's a supply chain issue with many of these projects. So we are waiting until the project is done before we send the loan to our servicer. So it can go for months, but you're locked in with your rate once your loan docs are signed. So yeah, I've got loans right now that are still waiting to go to the servicer and start payments. And it's been 3 months, 6 months, because the geothermal crew couldn't come because they were scheduled in advance, that kind of thing. And there's been a lot of HVAC supply chain issues that push things back. Post the website that I mentioned. Well, I'm gonna leave that up to Lisa. It's just a quick Google to the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD, Be Smart website. There you go. Thank you. Are these for refinancing and rehabs? This is for any home that you own and you're going to do an energy efficiency upgrade. So it's not for new construction. It is just for an energy efficiency upgrade to a home that you own. And rehabs, they divide themselves into us and other financing. If that rehab involves things that we deem energy efficiency retrofits, great. But your kitchen remodel, I'll cover the appliances for it. But you're going to be covering, the countertops and so on. If you're doing a bathroom remodel, I can handle the ventilation there, but that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of Energy Star type of energy efficiency within a bathroom. So we get asked that all the time. Any other questions?
Yeah, Patrick, there are two in the Q&A. The first one talks about retirees providing 2 years of income taxes. What if their income threshold falls below the requirement to file? What do they need to show in that case?
A lot of times there's a document that states their annual income from Social Security or a pension or retirement. There's got to be some documentation according to our DOE guidelines. We have to have some documentation about any incoming money. We have quite a lot of retirees that take advantage of this loan. A lot of times they own their homes, so the debt to income ratio is quite simple for them, and they might have a low amount of income, and that's fine. We might say to them, okay, your limit for the loan might be 10K or 15K, but we have a lot of retirees, and you just need to have some kind of documentation about the amount of money coming into your income.
Great. And one other, do you need the energy audit before you apply, or can you do that afterwards?
This program used to require an energy audit, and we do not any longer. So the energy audit does actually kind of steer you toward, certainly it steers you toward an approved auditor. Then for you to qualify for the rebates, you have to work with that auditor to get your rebates. So they want to make sure you're using licensed and insured contractors. Whereas when we opened this up and did not require any audit, you just have to have energy efficiency measures. We are working with all HVAC companies, all plumbers, all insulation companies in the state of Maryland. So I wanted to present those rebates as something you might take advantage of, but we do not require that at all. I just want to counsel people on those. And sometimes you might have to spend, let's say, $2,000 to $3,000 on those measures to qualify for your HVAC rebate. So the homeowner's kind of saying, well, let's see, I have to spend $2,000 to $3,000 to get my $2,000 to $3,000 rebate. So it's kind of a net zero. Yet, what you're really paying for are things that are great for the energy efficiency of your home. You're paying for attic insulation and air sealing, which are outstanding. And my BPI certified auditors would say, and yes, your system will not have to work as hard. So if you take care of those first two measures, your system's gonna not have to work as hard and your bills will be lower based on those first two measures. So it's a smart thing to do, but not everybody does it, certainly. And we want to be easy to work with. So just bring us your projects and we'll finance you as long as they fit. 30K max, and you heard 70K from me. That's true. It was initially a 30K max, and I have questioned that internally and to the DOE and got approval because a lot of geothermal systems were coming around 50K. So we've done 65 to 70K already. So it's a little bit outdated. We could go back and change it all and say it's higher, but if you purchase from and use a Virginia window sales installation contractor, no problem. No problem. You can buy windows from Ohio or California. It's fine with us. Your contractor just has to have a Maryland MHIC license, and they have to be insured. And that's fine.
Well, Patrick, that's all the questions that I am seeing right now. I know that you have a briefing to get to on, one late one.
Okay.
One late one.
So solar, that's a great question. The DOE has told us that solar can be up to 50% of the total. What I like about the solar shingles is I consider them an Energy Star certified roof. So we can do 100% of the loan for a solar roof. But a solar project can only be 50% of the total. So if somebody comes to me and says, I need to do a 20K solar project, I would ask them to go find 20K and other measures that they would like to finance, and then we can do the solar for 20K. But you kind of have to match it. So it's only 50% of the total loan.
Excellent. Well, Patrick, thank you. Thank you for your time here today. As I was starting to say, Patrick has a briefing to get to on some of those federal dollars that are coming into Maryland. So we certainly want to let him scoot off and make sure that we have those secured so that you can do some more upgrades next year. So Patrick, thank you. We really appreciate your time here today.
Let me just leave you with our BSmart line that I answer. It's 301-429-7402.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And now we're going to take a look at some federal options that we have with our friends here from Freddie Mac. We have Sandra Heidinger and Jim Hall from the Affordable Lending Department at Freddie Mac. They're going to talk about the Green Choice and Choice Renovation products that they have to offer. So Jim, Sandra, floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. Really want to thank you for inviting us today. We have a great partnership with Maryland Realtors, and I've done multiple webinars with your association in the past, mainly on our traditional affordable programs, Home Possible, HFA Advantage, and Home One. And I've also partnered with your association on webinars with the Maryland Mortgage Bankers and Brokers Association. And so it's always great to also be on a program with the Maryland DHCD. They're a great partner of Freddie Mac's also, and they promote our HFA Advantage program through their Maryland mortgage program. So we really appreciate the opportunity to talk to your members today. And I am really, really happy that you saw we have a lot of Halls today. Mr. Hall from Maryland DHCD, you have me. And Sandra she has Hall heritage also, believe it or not. So we're really, really, cornering the market today. So really happy to bring, Sandra here to speak with you today. She's a subject matter expert on these programs, and please, welcome her and enjoy what she has to say. So I'm going to turn it over to Sandra right now. I will drive the PowerPoint, and Lisa, if you can man the chat box and just chime in when you get some questions. So Sandra, all yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim and Lisa. I mean, I'm excited to be here. And yes, I do want this to be interactive. So please, as I'm talking, post any questions out there, because at the end of the day, Jim and I want to make sure that you have all the answers to the questions that those burning questions that you have on your mind. So with that, Jim, let's fast forward on to slide 5, if we could, please. And we're going to talk about really today's topics. Really, we're here to talk about a little bit about the market. We're going to talk about Choice Reno and our Green Choice option. Right now, as we look at the market conditions and the challenges out in the marketplace, some of the housing stock, it's getting older, right? There's a shortfall of affordable houses that are for sale. I mean, there could be a lot of them for sale, but how many of them are in that affordable category? I speak all over the country, and when I hear people saying that a starter home is $400,000, I'm like, holy moly, How can that be the cost of considered an affordable starter home? But we're also seeing, the millennials, they are the largest demographic in the marketplace, and they're all out looking to buy a home. Again, the challenge though is finding an affordable one, that entry-level home for them to get into. Lastly, but certainly not least, as the baby boomers are aging, are they deciding to stay in their home, or are they wanting to downsize? So those are some of the challenges that are out in the marketplace. Some of the options that we're seeing on the next slide, with the products that we have created, here's some of the feedback that some borrowers have told us, that, buying a house that needs some work, because maybe they found the perfect house. The perfect location, because let's face it, location, right? They found the location because maybe it's in the school district where they want their kids to go. Maybe it's close by where family is. So, but you know what? That home, it's like, oh, goodness, I need some work on it. But maybe there's an option out there. We found an option that can get them in that house that's in the location they want. Some other information here. This house needs some renovations, including to accommodate my parents moving in with us. So I want you guys to think about something, and we'll talk about a little more in depth a little later in the presentation. How's the ADU market, the accessory dwelling units? Is that a thing in the Maryland market? So I'd like to put that in your mind to think about when we get to that topic. Other folks are saying, we can't wait to have energy efficient windows indoors to help alleviate some of these costs, these expensive bills that we're getting. And, knowing that they can have a peace of mind that their house will withstand the next big storm, because let's face it, the last 2 or 3 years, especially, we've seen some tremendous storms that have come through, whether it be tornadoes, whether it be fire, whether it be, some of the hurricanes that have come through and destroyed. So again, some of the things that we need to work on as houses are being upgraded. Did you know that today's housing stock, 80% of the nation's 137 million homes are at least 20 years old? That's almost 110 million that could benefit from some type of a home improvement. Additionally, almost 55 million homes are at least 50 years old. And those could use some significant rehabbing, right? But the overall market for home improvements is now almost 400 billion, that's with a B, annually. Why renovation lending? Hey, as we're looking across the country, renovation is up to 42 metro areas, up to 13% of the market. Because, there's not a lot of new construction that's out there. So what are we doing with the existing stock? It's needing to be rehabbed. So this is a great chart to see where a lot of that growth is going on. At least 9% of it is through the Sun Belt area, seeing the largest growth in this space. So on the next slide, we can see some things that people are being able to take advantage of with our low down payment mortgage. So being able to utilize the choice renovation, the green choice, and how it can be combined with our low down payment mortgages, our Home Possible, Home One, and HFA Advantage. As we see on the next slide, a little more depth here around the 3 product. And I didn't want to spend a lot of time here because I know Jim has presented on these particular options to you. But again, just a little bit of touch base. And Jim, if you'd like to help out in this space, especially, to help point out some of the key criteria. These are all 3 of the low down payment mortgages, Home Possible, Home One, and HFA Advantage. Home One is the only one where one of the buyers has to be a first-time home buyer. The other two, they can be first-time or repeat borrowers, repeat clients in this space. I always sell the HFA Advantage. If any of them, HFA Advantage is actually has all the bells and whistles. And if your client is eligible for it, I would go that path all day long.
Yeah.
Because again, it does have all the bells and whistles. Jim?
Yeah, it is. It is a great program, and the Maryland DHCD promotes it. The one thing that you have to be cognizant of is that lenders can only use the HFA Advantage through the Maryland DHCD and the Maryland Mortgage Program. They cannot deliver it directly to Freddie Mac, where lenders can deliver Home Possible and Home One directly to Freddie Mac. And like Sandra mentioned, these are our 3% down programs. So they're more affordable than an FHA loan because FHA loans require 3.5% down. And we've also reduced the mortgage insurance requirements on HFA Advantage and Home Possible for when the area median income is below 80%. Standard mortgage insurance on a 3% down conventional loan requires 35% coverage. On Home Possible, it's reduced to 25%, and HFA Advantage, it's reduced to 18%. So there's a substantial savings for the consumer with their monthly mortgage insurance payment. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Sandra.
And thank you. And to add on to that, again, we're not talking anything bad about FHA. FHA is a great loan too. But here with these conventional options, once they have so much equity built in, that private mortgage insurance can be canceled. So it frees up about $100, $150 a month back into their pocket. So again, a great advantage, no pun intended there, of using the HFA Advantage or the Home Possible.
Great. And Sandra, Jim, just really quickly, is there a chart somewhere that shows what the median income is and what those thresholds are?
There isn't a chart per se, but lenders use our Home Possible property and eligibility tool, and it's address specific. So when they get an application, they'll put in the address and it's really, it really goes down to that detail on street level. And then what it does, it gives the lender the 100% median income for that property, the 80% threshold, and also goes down to the 50% threshold for a very low income. So
before we hang up, what I'm happy to do is put the link to that as well, so it'll be easy for you guys to reach out in.
Yeah, it's very user friendly. You can check it out, put in your own home address, and you can see what the median incomes are in your area, and that's a fabulous tool that our lenders use for each loan application.
Absolutely, that most definitely.
Great. And we also had another question just really quickly about median income being reverted back to 100% of AMI instead of 80. Was that perhaps for high cost areas, or can you elaborate any more on that?
Our products are still at the 80% of area median income for Home Possible. Home One will allow it to go up to 100% of AMI. HFA Advantage, Jim?
Yeah, well, HFA Advantage can go over the 80% AMI. It's dependent upon the Housing Finance Agency and what their guidelines are. And over 80% of AMI, they don't get the reduced charter level mortgage insurance. It's the standard 35% coverage.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent. I do want to point out though, and Jim, let's chat real quick about this because we have just also announced, Freddie Mac has just announced that we are eliminating a lot of those loan level price adjustments or those delivery fees on these products, which at the end of the day for your clients makes it a more affordable product because these extra fees are not being added in as they're setting down part of their closing cost.
That's correct. And that change is affected on loans delivered December 1st and after. So we are very happy to announce that. And just to quantify it for you, on an HFA Advantage loan over 80% area median income, there was a 200 basis points delivery fee charge, which was, quite expensive, and lenders and housing finance agencies, they, had to pay it, but that's been waived and that's gone. So, and of course that cost usually gets passed down to the consumer. So that's just another advantage, for the consumer that, that cost has gone away. So we're doing everything we can to be innovative because we know this market right now, there's just a shortage on supply of affordable homes, and with interest rates, rising, it's lessened the buying power really for the first-time home buyer because we were used to rates in the 3s, and now they're up in the 6s and 7s. So that principal and interest portion of their mortgage payment, has gone up now.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Jim and Lisa, both. But keep the questions coming in as we move on and talk about this choice renovation product. So again, let's say they have found that house that they like, right? And again, it's location where they want to be because maybe they are there in the school district where they want their kids to go. But you know what? God, it needs a new bathroom, or I love to cook and I really want a better kitchen. I want a nicer kitchen in here with upgraded appliances, something a little different, how can I finance all that in? Well, we got an option here for you, and that is our choice renovation product. Because, it is absolutely offers an option here for those clients to make all those changes. It will allow them to go ahead, close on the loan, and they have up to 1 year after that loan has closed to complete all of the repairs on that house. Up to 1 year. That's pretty good. So what can you do with all of that? They can, it will allow them to pay for all the soft costs that are incurred with the renovation. They can pay for upgrades. They can pay for retaining walls. One of the things they cannot do is they cannot totally knock down the house. They cannot do that. But a lot of great things that they can do with this. The other thing, let's say they are wanting to redo the whole kitchen. And it's like, well, they're going to have to live somewhere else. So now I've got to pay a mortgage payment and I've got to pay a hotel bill because I can't live in the house. No, we have you covered on that too for up to 6 months, because this will allow them to finance up to 6 months of principal, interest, taxes, and insurance while that kitchen, for example, is being redone. So they don't have duplicate payments there. They can spend the money staying in the hotel instead of having to worry about having to cover a house payment too. So that can make a big difference in somebody's pocket as well. As we look on the next slide, when we're talking about this, if you could move forward one more. Well, here we go. Again, like I said, you cannot use this to totally raise the property or totally knock it down, but you can do a good amount. It will allow you to finance up to 75% of the as completed appraised value. That could be a lot of money. And still use Home Possible with this. So you can still take advantage of using Home Possible finance, up to 97% of this. That's still pretty strong, right? The other thing, and this is where I was mentioning a little earlier about the ADUs, accessory dwelling units. Either the audience or even Lisa, if you can chime in here, I'm not sure what the Maryland market is in the ADU space. Is this a thing? In some parts of the country it is. Not sure about Maryland. I don't know that market.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned this. I'm going to switch on to my advocacy hat here. Accessory dwelling units are a big push of ours to get uniform standards statewide that are very permissive, as we have seen in some other states and major cities. Right now, accessory dwelling units are allowed, but it's really on a county by county basis. And in some areas, it can be very difficult for someone to get through the permitting process to do it. But if all goes according to plan, we will have statewide authority for ADUs coming down the pike very shortly.
Awesome. Good to know. Thank you for that, Lisa. So in those counties currently where it is allowed, depending on where you're at, and that is a question I should have asked before I started calling, is if you want to right now while we are talking, what part of Maryland are you guys all calling in from? We'd love to know that too. So if you are in a county that is currently allowing this, you can do the ADU here, and utilize this product. And some of you might be thinking, well, what's an ADU? I mean, how many of you used to watch Happy Days? And did you guys remember the Fonz? So where did Fonzie live? He lived with the Cunninghams in that apartment over the garage. That's an ADU. That's an ADU. Sometimes we need the visual of what that might look like. This could be. And for some of us that have had, aging parents that maybe need to come live with us in their elder years, this could be an ideal thing to take advantage, to leverage and utilize the choice renovation to make, so that way they still have their private residence, but they're right there with you, right? Again, a great thing, great product offering for you guys to take advantage of. Another thing that you can do with this, you might be saying, okay, I'm putting in a new kitchen, but I do want some nice new appliances to go with that too. Can I finance those in? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It does allow you to finance those appliances in with this as well. Regardless, through it all, any of these renovations that are done have to make sure that they are in compliance with your state and local jurisdictions. So let's say you may not want to do a full-blown renovation, but maybe some smaller renovations. That's where our Choice Renovation Express comes into play. So this will allow you to finance, up to, again, a smaller scale, up to 10% of the as completed appraised value. Okay. Now, if it is in a high needs rural market, which I'm not sure if the state of Maryland may have a few high needs over towards the mountains. Could be some of the high needs rural markets that could take advantage of this or could leverage this. They can finance up to 15% of the as completed appraised value. Okay, but these would be those smaller projects that could be leveraged in that space. Maybe they just want some new doors or just a smaller scale update in the kitchen or a smaller scale update in the bathroom, for example, just a few things that would leverage. Now, for the Choice Renovation Express, you don't have the full year. It's a smaller time frame. You can still close on it, do the repairs after, but this one is 180 days. So 6 months to complete it versus a year for the full-blown renovation. Okay. So again,
I'm sorry, really quickly, I think that last slide answered this, but just to be clear, these programs are to be used through Freddie Mac approved lenders, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Great point. Thank you for that. Again, the Choice Reno, it just allows you to take it, to leverage this for a lower interest rate rather than some of the HELOCs that could be out there. Finance everything in. You don't have the interim financing, and just you're able to get all of that work done from from the get-go with this one purchase, because it is a one close. There is no second close on that. So let's dive in about the Green Choice. Now, this is our energy efficiency mortgage, okay? Our product offering, because we do know outside of the mortgage payment, more than half of the monthly bills could go towards energy usage, whether it's for heating or cooling, depending on what part of the country you're in. Right now we're going into winter, and they're already predicting these energy costs for winter are going to be pretty high. So wouldn't your clients want something to help do some energy efficiency stuff to the home that they're in to help mediate some of those costs, right? So with this, with our Green Choice on the next slide, what this does, again, it is going to help support lower utility costs. This one for Green Choice will allow you to finance up to 15% of the as completed appraised value of the property, okay? You do not have to have an energy report, those HERS reports, unless the cost of improvements are more than $6,500. Now, the only exception to that, if it goes more than the $6,500, is if the borrower is going to be putting in solar panels. Now, if they're solar panels and exceeds the $6,500, they don't have to worry about that energy efficient report. Okay. This also, they can do the closing on the loan, and they can do the repairs after the closing. As we look on the next slide, here's some things that you could think about doing, or your clients could think about doing. Having those windows and doors put in, the high efficiency refrigerators, the freezers, the water heaters, light bulbs, the low flow water fixtures, the solar water heaters, programmable thermostats. Maybe they just need some caulking around the windows, doors, adding additional insulation. These are just some suggestions on what can actually be done in this space with using our Green Choice product. This one, again, the benefits here, as we've been talking all the way through, it does allow them to save money on their monthly bills for their utilities and upgrade, do the repairs. You can do this as a refinance or as a purchase. So whichever way, if they're already in it, because I'm sure you real estate professionals are still keeping touch with the folks that you've already sold a home to for hope of a repeat, right? In case they do decide to buy another home. I'm sure you are their resource when they're like, should I do this or should I do that, or where should I go for this? You are, you're their trusted advisor. You worked with them to build that trust. So this is just another tool for you to have in your belt as you're working with your existing clientele. We do have a number of resources here for you. Again, the main thing, building up your reputation as that trusted advisor. You want to make sure that you are keeping yourself informed. You want to leverage the connections that you have built. Make sure you're out networking with other housing professionals that can help you to grow your pipeline. Make sure that you are engaged, because again, take advantage, leverage all the materials that are out there, making you still that stronger professional in the room where you engage. Like I had someone tell me one day, the one way that he approaches folks, it's even the checkout line in the grocery store. He's like, I'm in the checkout line, and as I'm talking to the cashier while I'm checking out, he's like, I asked them, So do you happen to know a good real estate professional? Because, if I wanted to buy a house, they're like, no, I don't. He immediately hands them their card. Well, now you do, should you happen. I mean, so it's just those little ways of trying to keep yourself engaged, trying to build those connections and leverage those. And again, take the opportunity to share with your own peers your expertise, because there's room for everybody out here, right? As you're learning today, the information that Jim and I are out here talking to you about, share with the peers that are in your offices about this information. It just helps your reputation and helps you be that trusted advisor in the room. As we look at the next slide, if you're not a current subscriber, highly recommend that you become a subscriber to our Real Estate Professional Resource Center. We've actually just upgraded this, so it's stronger, has a lot more resources available to you. You guys are the ones with the boots on the ground. We love hearing from you, because that's how we develop the products that we create to put in the marketplace. Again, you're the boots on the ground, so tell us what you're seeing. And that's how we make tweaks on different things, right? But there's a lot of great resources. Definitely leverage those. Credit Smart, this is our financial literacy tool that's offered on our website. We've just redone this as well. It's 21 years old. We just redid it last year to make it now ADA accessible, mobile friendly as well, because prior to last year, you had to sit down at a hard laptop or hard drive computer to take advantage of all of this. It is also very interactive with videos and quizzes to leverage. Our Credit Smart Essentials is one of those pieces definitely to take advantage of for your clients. And it is multilingual. As we
And
see
the
on the
cost,
next,
Sandra,
I'm sorry?
and the cost to the consumer to use Credit Smart
Well,
is?
if anybody who likes free things, this is free for your clients to take it to leverage. It is free. So on the next slide, we're talking more about Credit Smart. And this is our Credit Smart Essentials. This is it now has, I think it's about 60 micro modules within the 20 larger modules, all built in. So some of them may take a couple minutes to go through, some may take 5 minutes to go through, but they're all so informative to help build their confidence, build that consumer's education, their financial literacy within this space to get them ready for home ownership. A lot of our research has shown within all of the demographics, they're all wanting more information because there's so many myths that are out there. Like, so many people still think they have to have 20% down to buy a house. No. So it helps debunk a lot of those myths. Highly recommend. We also have our Credit Smart Home Buyer U. This is our educational requirement. It does meet the home buyer education requirement for Home Possible and for Home One. It'll take them a couple of hours to go through, very interactive for them to leverage. At the end, when it is completed, they'll get a certificate that they can email to the lender, telling them that they have completed the course. That way the lender will have it, then put it in their home buyer file, because it does need to be completed prior to closing. Again, it is available in English and in Spanish, and it is free for them to leverage. As you're driving around between appointments, download some of our podcasts. Listen to some of those, because there's a tremendous amount of podcasts, a lot of information that we are always putting out into the marketplace, again, to help you be stronger and better at what you do, more knowledgeable about what you do. At the end of the day, it is all about you. You know, I'm just grateful Jim invited me to come along today with him for this presentation to all of you guys. And you guys are already, bright, intelligent folks, but we just wanted to provide you with more tools for your toolbox as you're going out and making home possible. With that, I think we have one more slide. We'd love your feedback. If you could just scan the QR code here, tell us, are we giving you the information that you need to be successful? And being that trusted industry partner. We'd love to have your feedback. With that, just want to entertain any questions that you may have, any comments. We're here for you.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you. We have a good question that's here in the chat. So normally realtors hear that all work has to be completed prior to closing on a loan, and that you can't put money into escrow for work to be completed. So could you explain the process just a little timing wise with these, renovation loans? Does it need to take place before closing? Can it take place after? Get into the weeds a little bit here for us.
Absolutely. So all of these, all three that we discussed, can all be done after closing. So you can close on the mortgage, and there would be an escrow account set up on the full-blown choice renovation. The lender does have to establish a custodial account to manage the draws as work is completed. I believe the initial draw that they could take at closing, I will have to double check my memory, but I believe they can take as much as 50% at the start so they can get their work going, but then the draws would have to come after that as work has progressed. But absolutely, that can all be done after closing. For the Choice Express, there is no custodial account set up. It's a much easier lift for the lender to take part in. And pretty much they could take the whole draw up front. They can work with the big box stores on those as well, like the Home Depots, Lowe's, etc., to take it, to leverage those in those situations on the lighter lift.
Great.
Hopefully that helps.
Oh, go ahead. Yes. We mentioned that these loan products are available through approved lenders. Is there a list where, for instance, realtors or members of the public can go and see who those approved lenders are?
We do not post a list of who carries our products, unfortunately, but all of these are in the guide. So all of them all lenders could could leverage these. I would ask any of the lender shops that you're working with to see who may be carrying it. But unfortunately, yeah, we don't post a list.
I will say that DHCD and the Maryland Mortgage Program, for those products that are offered through Maryland Mortgage Program, there is a list of approved lenders for those products, which has some overlap to Freddie Mac.
Excellent. All right.
Okay, we have maybe like 2 minutes left here. Our timing is excellent, but if anyone had any last minute questions, speak now. Go ahead and put those in the chat or the Q&A.
Thanks for the comment, Bruce. That's really nice. And Kimberly as well. Thank you. Thanks to all of you.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing any additional questions. Yes, we do hope that you found this information worthwhile. If there are any topics that you would like to see us cover in the future, we're always happy to have Freddie Mac and DHCD back. Or if there are other topics, of course, please just send those to our Department of Strategic Communications. They are the ones who schedule all of these webinars for the year. I did see something pop up in the Q&A. Let me just make sure. Any questions for investment properties? Jim, Sandra, quickly.
Can these be for investment? I believe the full-blown choice can be. Let me get back to you on that one.
Yeah, HFA Advantage cannot be.
Okay. Great. Great. We did
Oh,
hear
Home
from,
Possible, you're right. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, Home Possible is right. Home Possible and Home One, they all have to be a primary residence. My bad on that.
I'm also,
Sorry.
yeah.
got you.
Yep.
So it looks like the DHCD and the Be Smart program would have some options for investment properties. So we would direct you to those. All right, well, our time is up today. Thank you, Sandra, Jim. We will also thank Patrick again for being here. Everyone stay safe and warm out there, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
Awesome.
Happy Thanksgiving,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.